All right, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. We have dug through the depths of the internet to unearth some of the best, wildest, and craziest golf stories we've ever seen. So if you thought you had a crazy golf story, just hang on for these.
Yeah, these are bizarre.
These are bizarre. So hang on, we're going to get into those in a minute. But first, Mike, I got to tip the hat. You picked
Scotty, baby.
Scotty last week.
I felt comfortable picking Scotty. I hope some of you guys ran with it. I hope some of you put money on it. I mean, we were talking about it before we started recording, just how cool he looked on Sunday with that 2-stroke lead, right?
Yeah, incredible. I mean, I was watching it, with my father in the morning, and I see that 2-stroke lead. I'm like, Dad, Scotty's got this.
He's got it. I think right now he wins the Masters. I'm going to make the prediction now.
Well, here's another question for you. Then we'll see Scotty again in 2 weeks at the Dell Match Play. Does he defend his title there? Remember,
it's hard to bet against him.
He won the Dell Match Play and then went on to win the Masters.
Match Play is a tough event, though. It's very different. It's different mental component. I don't know. I think he can easily go out and do it, but I think he's going to have I don't want to say easier time, but I'd like to bet my money on him defending the Masters first.
I'll tell you what, give me Scotty in any mental game.
Yeah.
That's why I said he's going to win, because I'm looking at it, it's just like he doesn't look uncomfortable in any position. If he's got the lead, he plays his same game no matter what. And when his game is on, it's just everything works for the guy. He's got the distance off the tee. We're seeing him. He was in probably, I think it was the top 5 at one point in driving distance that week, which you don't need length for the players. Mm-hmm. But then his approach game was fantastic. And when he wasn't hitting the green, he was recovering seemingly no problem. We saw even coming down the stretch in the back 9, him in that little bunker, and it's just you'd be like, here's where, and you could tell come off. This is where they want to keep that retention. They want to keep you watching, and that's where the announcers will say this could be trouble. And just nothing was trouble for him. No, he would just get there. He'd get up and down, at worst a bogey, but that was rare. But where other guys you would see. Other guys would every once in a while spray one into the pine needles, catch a tree and lose a stroke or two on the hole. It's just there's Scotty waiting for them in the fairway.
There he is, just chilling. And it's funny, watching the press conference or just some of the interviews afterwards, right on the green when he was interviewed, just the way he composes himself. He's just it was fun. He kept saying that.
He's the most chill.
He's like, it was fun out there. We just went out there and it was fun.
Did you see the post game interview with him? He goes, what are you going to do? He's like, I think my grandma's making something. I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
Go to grandma's. Go to grandma's. I mean, come on. The guy just won.
I love it.
What did he win? 4 million plus?
4.5, 4.7. It was 4.5, and he won 3.7 at the Waste Management. So the guy's got 8 million between 2 wins this year.
And not only that, the resume he's putting together now, the players he's won, he's WGC events he's
got
won.
The Masters. Almost won the U.S. Open last year. Everyone forgot about that. He was in the hunt.
I got to think it's got to play heavily on the minds of everybody else in the field when you've got, they're struggling. It's tough conditions. The conditions got even tougher with the wind really coming up. We watched the group go through, and even the mental fortitude of Scotty to watch. He's just standing there on the green because it was a little bit slow going through that turn there to 17, and he watches the group ahead of him, Tommy Fleetwood.
Yep.
And they both put their balls in the water, one long, one short. The wind is swirling 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. How about that? It was
he
nuts.
Just watches it. That would be in my head, seeing everybody in the group in front of me all go in the water. Now I get up there. That's why he's doing what he does. That's what we do.
Exactly. But speaking of that, how incredibly gorgeous is that course? We have to play it.
I was thinking the same thing the whole time. This has got to be on our list. And
always perfect.
But it seems to get better every year.
Yeah, right.
The way they do the bunkering and stuff, it's just incredible. But Scotty Scheffler, again, the guy's career knows no bounds at this point. He's clear that he's got the game that can win in different formats, match play, stroke play, it travels around. He's won on all different types of courses. So big things I think we'll see. But there was some other funny stories too. The Tom Hoagie story.
Yeah, with terrific. The airplane.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Pull up this tweet here. So who's that? Doug Ferguson. He said Tom Hoagie is going to pick up about 1.3 million and fly home to Fort Worth. Coach, that's just Hoagie. And he replies back with his number 21C is seat.
With his seat.
He's sitting there in coach after winning 1.3 million dollars. But there's even more to that story. I found out he had booked that flight, the coach flight, when he thought he was going to miss the cut. He booked it on Thursday.
Oh, he was planning to stay till Sunday?
He I guess.
Right?
I don't know.
Maybe
That's what I heard.
Hang around.
He had booked it. Maybe he moved it.
I thought he booked a flight because he didn't think he was going to. Wasn't it because he didn't think he was going to make the cut?
I think he booked a flight thinking he wasn't going to make the cut, and then he had a shuffle, and this was the flight.
Yeah,
he
that's
got.
a shuffle he got. Got it.
But regardless, though, here's a guy. Again, it just shows you how wild this game is. Here's a guy who thinks he's not going to make the cut, and then goes out there and fires the course record.
Right.
Which was insane. But speaking of insane, take a look at Terrell Hatton's back nine scorecard here.
Low.
Are you kidding me?
Low.
1, 2, what's that? 7 birdies. He goes 7 under on the back. We all saw how difficult that course was. And that finish, imagine going birdie, 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 5 birdies in a row, including that incredibly difficult stretch of 16, 17, 18.
No, that's incredible. Where do you finish in the tournament?
Oh, well, that's the great part about it.
Third.
He jumped up. His winnings where he was looking before he entered that back nine.
Higher? Yep.
He was somewhere around $100,000 in earnings.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, he finished second.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, after his back nine, he jumped up to about 1.3 million.
Just with a
from the back nine.
Jeez.
He 10x'd
All you need is a good back nine.
what he was going to win by the back. That's why I guess you hang in there and you stick with it. But it was incredible.
One good round. Change your life.
Really good. And like I said, it just shows, and we're going to talk about it in a second, but we've got a lot of good golf coming up because the strength of it, like the field, like look at, again, Hatton and all these guys who could come out of nowhere. We saw great things. I think there's a career ahead of him for that Min Woo Lee.
Yeah,
who fell apart a little bit, but it just shows a little bit of inexperience. I think you could see like a lot from him.
Dude, Aaron
That's
Rye.
a really cool story, actually.
Minwoo?
Yeah, because I believe, isn't his sister a total gamer, like multiple time
on the
major
LPG,
winner
yes.
on the LPGA? So
oh wow!
I guess when they play together, they play from the same tees, but she doesn't let him hit driver. So
okay.
I guess he was playing a driving iron a lot and like really just dialing it in.
Lasered in with that thing.
I guess that's because he plays with his sister all the time, hitting that driving iron off the tee.
Well,
so.
he used it to good effect because on 18 with all that water, he hit a 293 or 296 yard 2-iron.
Yeah, that's no big deal.
No big deal. But I think good big things to see coming from him. Look at even Brandon Wu, who we had on the podcast, not too long ago when he was
19.
Yeah, he was just dabbling with trying to get that in there with his tour card. Now he's 39th in the FedEx Cup point.
Yeah, another one. Aaron Rye, tied 19, hole in one.
Yeah. So
these young guns are coming up. I love it.
It's absolutely, and it's just like anybody can win, and I think that's the counterpoint to these designated events where people think like, oh, they're not going to pull the big fields.
Yeah.
You could pull anybody, out of the top 150 on the PGA Tour, and they could be in there in the mix. So you never know.
Just going back to Tom Hoge real quick. In the first round on Thursday, he shot a 78.
Yeah. That's why he thought he was going home.
Yeah. Second round, 68. So just in 2 rounds, 10 stroke difference.
Yeah, that's
in 2 rounds.
nuts.
Like just insane.
We've been there.
Crazy.
We've been there.
Yeah, we've been there.
100 down to 90.
Our 10 strokes
Right.
in the
And then
wrong direction.
round 3, 62.
Yeah.
Is that like course record?
Course record.
Yeah, he shot the course record 62.
Where's the first tee and what's the course record? Love it. That's
Sawgrass.
incredible. That's
Oh my
Sawgrass.
God.
In these conditions.
I'll tell you
After
what,
shooting a 78 on Thursday,
Something
come
clicked,
on.
man, overnight.
if Hatton did a few things in that front nine, he could have had the course
He could have
record.
he could have had the tournament.
Because the course record's 10 under, right?
Yeah.
He went 7 under on the back.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just,
Hey, did any vibe change from like no Cam Smith, no Dustin Johnson for you, or
for me, no.
no? I mean, it had a stacked field.
I was
was great
locked
competition.
in, all eyes on Scotty. And my pick, I thought we'd see more from Rory.
Yeah, that was a tough.
But Rory
tough week.
he couldn't find a fairway, and he was struggling.
He looked tired.
So I was watching him, but
And a bummer about John Rahm getting sick after the first round.
Withdraw, stomach bug.
Yeah, that stinks.
But to me, I like Cam Smith. I like watching him.
Yeah, I loved watching him play.
He's an incredible all-around golfer, but I just think there's so much strength that pulling a guy like him out doesn't hurt the field that much.
Right.
Unless you're a diehard Cam fan and you really want to see him play, there was just enough action to watch out there.
Right. And that was the
without
big
him.
chatter out there because there was like 10 heavyweights not in the field
Yeah.
this year, between all the Westwood, Poulter, you name it. All
But
the way
it's
down
going to
the
be
line.
interesting to see at the Masters. Like,
Yeah, that's when they'll all come back.
We might not
Right.
have missed him at the Players this weekend, but it's going to be very interesting seeing those guys back at the Masters.
I think
competing with these dudes.
We're all going to end up playing, Monday morning quarterback and hindsighting this. If Cam comes out of nowhere and just beats up everybody at the Masters, beats up Scotty Scheffler, then we're going back and we're saying like, well, maybe we did miss him. What would have he done at the Players? What would have? We could say that forever.
Yeah, you're right.
But for me, otherwise, it's just watching the event, like just watching what Scotty was doing, and I could. It was a Scotty Scheffler show on Sunday. I could have just watched his round and nobody else, and just been like, he put on a clinic.
I think he wins minimum four more times this year, easily. And
I think he wins one of the 4 majors.
Yeah, I got him for Masters. I got Homa early pick for U.S. Open, L.A. Country Club, California guy. He won out in Torrey.
There's a guy
that's a little far away.
Hanging around every single week.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, we put up a poll for you guys. If you're not already, subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe over there. We're going to do some more of the interactions on the community page, get you guys involved. So we put up a poll. I know it's early in the season. Who's your early pick for Player of the Year? And you guys, came in with Scotty.
408 votes.
They came in with Rahm.
Oh, wow. I can't see that in the black and white.
54% of you went Jon Rahm.
You're right.
30% Scheffler. I'm sure this morning that's going to shift. People are probably going to be more Scotty. But look, 9% for McIlroy. And then, Zach, the comments were what, Homa?
Homa. 3 comments, and they were all saying Homa.
Yeah. But look at this powerhouse, though. When you go around to the majors and you've guys got, these are the 3 who've been shuffling for world number 1, Scotty, McIlroy, and Jon Rahm. Any one of those guys could get a little bit hot and just, it's an incredible little lineup there. So Player of the Year is going to be... It's going to be heated as we get down towards the stretch.
We're not talking about JT. We're not talking about Spieth. It's interesting. Are those guys going to win? What's going on with those guys? They're both in the field at the Valspar, right?
They are.
Okay.
To be a fan of JT and see him how much he's been struggling, that's been tough.
Yep.
But to there's a counterpoint to everything. The other one who we've seen struggle for so long, good friend of JT's, is Ricky Fowler, and it's been really nice to see him.
He's turned himself around
and regaining confidence. Like he had an incredible shot Sunday on the 17th hole at the Island Green. I don't think there's anybody who's more comfortable there than him. After his players win there and what he just kept sticking it in that pin position. But, it's weird to not have Justin Thomas in the mix. And I got to think he's feeling the pressure now with it being a Ryder Cup year.
Yeah, he gets sneaky and just wins out of nowhere.
He wants to be in that mix, and I could see it, as long as he gets somewhat in form, even if he doesn't automatically make it in, I could see him being a captain's pick.
Right. I don't think we'll never not see JT, never not see Spieth.
But there's a lot of really good options for an American team right now.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be surprised if one of these guys got bumped.
It's interesting to even think of.
Right.
Couldn't even think of that.
So. This is an interesting story that I'm not sure if you guys are aware of, but Scotty and his caddy, I believe,
Teddy, yeah.
So they had a bet going, or a little bit of a wager going earlier in this year, and it was if Scotty was able to chip in 10 times, then Ted gets a cash bonus.
Okay.
And Scotty, I believe during the 2nd or 3rd round, hit his 10th chip in of the year. So Ted's getting a nice little bonus on top of the win bonus.
Let me tell you something. I would do that all day with my caddy.
All day.
Incentivize the heck out of
a bonus program.
Give me a great read on those chips.
Right.
Whatever it is. If I make X amount of putts this year, my putt percentage, whatever, I'm going to give you a bonus.
Right.
And that would
love the bonus structure program.
Yeah.
It's great.
And who knows? Maybe a lot of them do have something like that in place. But
Teddy's living a caddy's dream right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got way more to come, too.
Yeah. But going back to, the dominance of these guys, out of the last 5 designated events, these elevated big payout events, it's been either Scotty, Scheffler, or Jon Rahm who's won 4 of those. 4 out of the 5 events.
That's crazy.
Those guys are just stock in the bank accounts.
What was the other designated event? I'm curious. I thought they had them all.
No, it was like the...
you don't have to go nuts. But wow, they've had that many this year already. Good for them.
They have. And it leads into the next conversation will be the Valspar, which is coming up this week.
Circle back.
Yeah, it's now not a designated event. So remember we were kind of talking about like how much does that hurt the field? So like you've got it sandwiched in between. So the week after the Valspar, you've got the 2 events simultaneous. The WGC, the
GC.
Dell, and in Austin, and then you've got the Corrales in
right.
what's
Punta
it, Puerto
Cana?
Rico,
Yep.
I think. So you've got the 2 events going on, but the Dell is another designated event, another $20 million purse. So you got 2, the players, and you've got the Dell, which will be the next time, like I said, we see Scotty Scheffler. You've got kind of this week in between, and it makes you wonder, like, will a lot of guys sit it out and just play the big payout events? Well, the Valspar still carries a lot of FedEx Cup points and an $8 million purse.
Sure.
It's only because of these $20 million purses that the 8 seems like not as much, but just a year or 2 ago, that's a decent purse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to see guys like JT and Spieth play it. But I mean, I wonder if they're like almost being forced to play some of these events.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not surprising
Forced
to
by
me
who?
because it's $8 million payout is still a significant purse, you know? And on top of that, these are kind of core PGA Tour events like the Valspar, the Snake Pit. Like,
Right.
we're not talking about like a complete alternate field event. So I'm not sold on the idea that you're going to see all the big names sit out the non-designated.
Yeah.
events. I'm not sold on that. And
I
like I
mean-
said, you got Sam Burns going to be trying to defend his title. You got Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Matthew Fitzpatrick, major winner, Tommy Fleetwood. There's still some big names in the field at the Valspar this week.
Sam Burns going for the 3.
He's going for the 3-peat. What was that interesting stat we had here? That hasn't been done much on tour.
Only a handful of guys. Tiger has done the 3-peat.
Jack, Arnie, Billy Casper, Tom Watson, Johnny Miller, and Gene Littler.
Yeah, so some big names, good company to be in if he can 3-peat.
So maybe it's a Sam Burns show.
You never know. Like sometimes these guys, and the course just fits them so well.
Right.
And I got that vibe out of Sam last year watching him. We were thinking, at that time we were saying, could he repeat?
Right.
And he seemed to do it without,
Where would you rank that place? Because we played it in your
for me or for the tour
for
schedule.
And like where you played. I'd say top 10.
Yeah, I would say top 10, especially the Snake Pit's so interesting.
Really interesting.
I would
Daunting.
say the first hole of the Snake Pit, that
first
par 4
with
is
the
one
water.
of the hardest tee shots I've ever hit.
One of the most intimidating for sure.
For me, because I play a draw, it wasn't as intimidating. But like if you
For me,
play
I
a
would-
fade or a
was scared to
slice, it's
death.
a deadly.
Yeah.
It's a dead. But there's a sliver of a fairway there, all protected the whole right side with water. But the thing with it is that you didn't have much room on the left
Yep.
either. Just a little bit. It only takes to push through the fairway and be in the trees, and then you're punching out, and it's a tough approach shot. It's a tough course.
I wouldn't say it's the hardest 3-hole stretch, the Snake Pit.
No.
Because there's not that much to get you in trouble except for that first hole.
I also didn't find 18 to be
It's like a straightaway up the hill par
right.
4.
You just I think 16 is one of the hardest holes I think out there on the tour.
Yeah.
But then 17 really it's a long par 3.
It's just a long par 3.
And 18 I felt like it's a traditional
Right.
uphill par 4 for
Right.
so I don't feel like it's
It's no bear trap.
right. I think Amen Corner.
Not knocking it. It ate me up.
Right.
You played it really well, but it ate me
I
up.
played it well. But I would be more nervous as a tour player going into 16, 17, 18 at Sawgrass than the Snake Pit.
Yeah.
Especially given whatever the wind's doing.
Totally. Yeah.
I know the PGA Tour doesn't often do this, but I would like to see 2 rounds played at Copperhead and 2 rounds played at the Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
think
because Island was
that
so
course was
tough,
so
and I would
tough.
love to see
They've held
the
events
tour
there
guys
before,
play
right?
that.
I think they've held some like qualifiers there.
they may have. If I remember, I think the yardage was too short to hold a tour event.
Okay.
I think that's where Phil Mickelson won his NCAA championship.
Yeah.
That's right. It's fun
Yeah.
too. Like when we were down there in Innisbrook, like everyone was talking about that course.
Right.
You know,
Good luck
like,
when
hey,
you
have
get to the
played it?
island.
Yeah. So I mean, that was still one of the more fun trips we've done,
Mhm.
and it'll be good to watch these guys and see how they navigate through it. And then don't forget, we've only got 3 events if you count the Valspar before the Masters.
3
We're
weeks.
back. Yeah. So we've got that. Then you've got another great event in the
That's-
Dell Match Play.
Yeah.
And then after that, we've got the Valero Texas Open, which a lot of guys will play to prep the Masters because it's kind of like a layout that has a lot of synergies with the Masters, with Augusta. So a lot of guys will play there.
Yeah. Right. True.
And then head into it. Or a lot of guys will be playing there. We'll get the storylines we do every year of 1 or 2 guys who are just trying to win their way into the
I just think these guys are exhausted. I think like JT Spieth, honestly, I think some with Valspar and PGA Tour, like they had to almost be forced to come and play or paid to play. Because at this point, when you're flying across, you got Hawaii swing, you're going over to Waste Management, over to Riviera, and you're coming back for the players. API, they're playing.
Well, now they're in the Florida
swing. Like exhausted. Like, yo, we got to take a break.
Yeah. They're in Florida swing. They're I think at least JT's a Florida resident.
Yeah, I mean, it's Florida, but I could see like the one in between the Masters and the WGC. I could see that being just a Honda type field. Yeah.
Yes.
Just
so the
ghost,
Texas is tough because now, you're going from Florida over to Texas and then back to Georgia. Right. But like I said, a lot of guys like it as a tune-up. Because of the fact that, like I said, the layout, it plays similarly in a lot of ways to Augusta, and a lot of guys will feel like it keeps them informed versus just the other option is to get to Augusta early and put in more practice rounds. But there's good and there's bad with both. Practice rounds will give you the layout of the land, but it's not the same vibe as being in competition.
Yeah.
So
true.
I'm not crying for these guys at all, flying private from course to course, making millions of dollars when they play.
No, we're certainly not.
But come on. You see Speed's doing the RV life with his wife and his kid.
That's pretty cool. I would love to see like a vlog of that. Yeah. Like somebody like him that's doing like RV life, that's perfect content.
Because their own bed is like everything to them.
Yeah.
Like we sleep on a questionable bed, like your whole round, your whole tournament could be screwed.
Does he have kids?
He's got one.
Yeah.
Newborn. Semi-newborn.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine going down the highway and Jordan's in his RV?
He's got Greller.
Yeah.
Riding
You're like, what's going on? But
we got to talk about that story. I mean, the fan getting hit real quick. How cool was that?
That guy got clocked.
He got clocked, and as a result of him getting clocked, the ball didn't go in the water, stayed in play, went into the fairway. Spieth went on to make the cut and win $275,000.
Yes. So of course, after the round, they interviewed Spieth, and he said, "I'm going to get his contact information and give him whatever he wants."
Whatever he wants. Yeah.
And you know what he ended up with?
The flag,
signed flag.
Yeah, the whole internet was going nuts on what they would pick.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, can you hook me up with Masters tickets?
Yeah, I'll just take Saturday, Sunday. I don't even need the whole week.
All, something like that.
Right.
I don't know. There's a certain degree, like how greedy can you get?
Exactly.
Right. If nothing else, it'd be fun to be part of the storyline, depending on how injured you are.
Right.
It wasn't like he didn't go down.
Right.
Hit him hard though.
Yeah, blood? But golf ball to the knee.
No blood?
To the kneecap. It can't feel good.
That's gonna hurt for a while.
Yeah.
It's gonna sting for a bit.
That's gonna hurt for a bit.
But it was just like boom, it hit him, and then that ball jumped all the way. Saved it, like you said, saved it from going in the water, jumped all the way into the fairway.
And then he had a sick chip in for eagle.
He should after that. That's great.
That's what I told him. Hey, Jordan, you better at least capitalize on that. I got you back in the fairway. You better at least capitalize.
Right, absolutely.
But like a signed flag,
I'd send him 1% of earnings.
That's like the most lame gift
Maybe 2%.
I've ever heard in my entire life. It's like, give the guy a set of clubs, play around with him,
give him 2% of the take, send him $5,000,
get him something like a signed flag. It's like, bro.
He's gonna have some rehab. He's gonna have to start.
Well, usually, what's the tradition? If you hit somebody, you sign your glove and give it to them.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Anyway, that's a good spot to take a break. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and go through some of these stories that we've dug up from the internet. And some of them, like I said, will just leave you scratching your head about how this happened. So some fun stuff to dig into, and we're going to encourage you guys too. If you got a fun story of your own, drop in the comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, because I'd love to read some more of them on the show. I'm sure there are a lot that are just sitting there waiting to be told.
Isn't there one that involves a gorilla and a couple police officers?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. So let's do a quick word from our sponsors. We'll get right into it.
All right, the hours have been put in and the work has been done. As the moment approaches, you either fear it or you feel it. For Titleist, it's the moment filled with pure anticipation, the culmination of relentless pursuit of speed in every form. So step up and settle in with confidence. The Titleist TSR is here. Now, guys, the new Titleist TSR drivers take everything that made the TSI the #1 driver on tour, and they packed in even more performance into every single head. From new face technologies to CG improvements and aerodynamic refinements, when everything moves the needle, you're playing at Titleist speed. Go to Titleist.com, learn more about the TSR metals, schedule your fitting today. That's the Titleist TSR. Find your faster.
And guys, you've heard us talk about it a little bit before, but if you haven't checked out the new Hyperflex and Hyperflex Carbon shoes from FootJoy, now's the time to do it. I think they're going to be the hot shoe this summer. The colors that they come in, not to mention the stability. They got hyper power, hyper control, hyper fit, and what you really end up with is tour caliber performance. We talked before about stability, using ground forces, and really starting to think of your shoes as another performance piece of your equipment. You put these on and you'll see why. They're seriously powerful, but they're also comfortable shoes. They're real gamer shoes for players who are focused on maximizing their performance, and they provide that foundation for hyper power, designed to provide you that best swing platform possible. The last thing you want to do is be slipping out there. So they keep you in place for that hyper control, because all FootJoy thinks about is how to design a shoe that helps you play better. And they keep you dialed with that hyper fit. So remember, a shoe that doesn't fit well is not going to perform well. So you want to make sure the shoe fits well so it doesn't reduce your power input. And that's just a fact. So thinking of your shoes as part of your performance equipment is really going to change the game for you. And the good news is you'll still look good doing it too. So check out the new Hyperflex and Hyperflex Carbon today at footjoy.com.
And we can't say enough about the Tommy John 360 underwear. By the way, it's the best deal on the internet right now. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. I mean, I've never been so hype on my underwear collection. I mean, they're totally legit.
He's in there showing off his underwear
I was showing off to people. They were at the house. I was folding clothes. I was like, you got to check out this underwear. They're like, you weirdo. Put those things away. Because the 360 underwear, they're 360 because of the 360 stretch fabrics that prevent it from riding up and giving you wedgies. I mean, they're designed for the gym, any type of performance activity you're doing, running, playing golf. They're comfortable for everyday wear. They have those mesh cooling zones with the contour pouch, and that guarantees that only your goals are getting crushed out there. I love that they have the antimicrobial and anti-odor technology and the stay put waistband that roll up or pinch. I mean, they thought of everything.
Yeah.
You know, really thought of everything to make underwear extremely comfortable. So the best deal on the internet, what is it? Use code GOLFICITY, GOLFICITY, and you're going to get 25% off your entire order. And guys, once you order once, I know you'll be coming back for more. It's that good. Check it out, TommyJohn.com.
All right, so let me give you a little backstory on these stories. So we sent Zach on a mission after seeing one really funny story online. We sent Zach on a mission. We said, dig up some stories for us from the internet.
Go find us some stories.
Go find us some stories. So he went very deep into Reddit, which is often a gold mine for this type of thing, to find some of the wildest and wackiest stories. And maybe you guys can relate to some of these. One I'll just start off with was kind of just a funny one. This one came from Not a Jabroni on Reddit.
Okay.
And he basically said, you know, he used to play in this golf league, and this one guy was a real hothead. You know, I feel like there's always one in every group. Long story short, this guy's having a particularly bad day, and he takes not just the club. I mean, we saw even like Rory do this on tour, throwing his 6-iron in the water. This guy was like, he just took the whole bag,
the whole thing,
launched it into the lake, right into the pond,
right,
whatever it is. Anyway, so they see this guy storm off at the end of his round. The clubs are floating away. And he goes over, like he's gonna leave, goes to his car. All of a sudden, you know, you slap in the pockets.
Oh no.
And you're like, what's going on? No keys. Realizes he's got the keys in the bag. So, hey, if you're gonna be a hothead, at least take your keys out before you throw away the thing. Talk about walk of shame. They all watch as he has to walk back to the golf course, go into the pond, swim out to his bag, recover his bag just so that he could take his keys out and head home. That one, imagine explaining that one. You get home, explain to your wife, like, why are you soaking wet?
Why are you soaked? Right.
Be like,
I wonder if he took the clubs out.
At that point, I think you have to. I think you just recover everything.
You get everything, kind of move on.
But imagine you're like, yeah, I got so mad, I threw my clubs.
That bad, huh?
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
That was a bad one. Here's another one. Like, this one's just kind of a funny story because it's like, what are the chances of this? So this one's from Smarter Not Harder, and he says his buddy was playing Pine Valley a couple summers ago. Now, first of all, amazing getting to play Pine Valley. That's still hugely on our bucket list.
Yep.
And it's a hot day, and he's thinking, it's Pine Valley. No one's going to mess with my car if I leave the windows open. So he parks in the lot, leaves the windows down. Anyway, he's playing his round. He gets to the 18th hole, tees off, and pulls the ball left, right? But they think it's in play. So he walks up there with the caddies. Everyone's searching for it for a bit. They never find it. So he ends up walking back to the tee, re-teeing, and moving on with his round. The end of the round, remember, hot day. He decides it goes in. I'm going to have a drink or two and cool off. So an hour goes by. He's in the bar. After that, he heads out to finally head home. His windows are still down, right? Gets in the car, goes to start it up, and he looks at his dash, and the glass that covers the speedometer and all that is shattered. And inside the glass is sitting his golf ball. He put it through his own window, which the window was down. And it's instead of smashing the glass of his window, it smashes the glass of the odometer, the speedometer, everything, and it's sitting in there.
That's pretty wild. What are the chances?
But hey, at least he got to play Pine Valley.
That's true.
Well, I think the old Seinfeld, 1 in a million.
1 in a million, Doc. It's like those farmers commercials where like, we covered, we've seen it, we covered.
Yes, that's a perfect one.
It's a perfect one.
He needs to get the call from farmers for that one. That was a wild one.
Jeez.
So
I imagine they're only going to get worse here.
They only get worse. In fact, the one you teased earlier, let me find it. I've got so many stories here, but the one with the gorilla.
Yeah, right.
So this one comes from Stern a lot, and he said, I was golfing at the only course within the city limits of Pittsburgh with 3 friends. Course has a large park, fairly dense woods outline the course on the back 9. So he's on number 11. And he says particularly nestled in the woods. Like it's really like kind of like bordering on the woods there. And as they're about to tee off, they see 2 cops coming towards them.
Not a starter.
Golf cart.
The cops, okay.
Not the starter, right? This is the next level.
Right.
It's the cops. The cops come up to him.
And they're particularly curious because I believe it was a walking course. So the cops are coming up on a cart as well. So it's like, oh, what's really going on?
Yeah,
here?
what's up? Like you see the cops pulling up on you. You're like, what did we do? And he says the cops, trying clearly to keep a straight face, says to the guys, have you seen a gorilla? Like, you got to put yourself in the shoes for a second. You imagine you're on the 11th hole and some guy, the cops come like, have you guys seen a gorilla? Right. Now I'm thinking like, what's going on? Right. Long story short, the cops, like, I would tell the cops, you're going to have to explain yourself because otherwise I'm going to be terrified.
Right.
Like, did a gorilla escape the zoo and I got to worry about this guy ripping my arm off while I'm playing golf?
Exactly.
Right. Turns out there's some guy, and why people do things is its own mystery, but there's a guy dressed in a gorilla suit hiding out in the woods around the 11th hole and stealing people's balls as they come into the green.
Wow. What a business model.
And that's how second chance golf balls are found.
Exactly.
He started a company called
Gorilla Golf Balls.
Gorilla Golf Balls, yeah. Unbelievable. So the cops, I guess, are on the lookout for him, and they're asking every group who goes through to keep an eye out for this man in a gorilla suit.
Man in a gorilla suit. I guess he wanted to be camouflaged. Is that what it was?
I don't know. Gorillas common in Pittsburgh? I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah. Wow.
So now here's one. This one sounds like a complete nightmare.
Oh boy.
And I think
It's
anybody
not how you want to start a story.
No, but I mean anybody who's a caddy or has caddied before is going to feel for this guy. This one comes from MJP 242. And he said he was caddying at a very exclusive club, and it was particularly that day he had a very drunk member that he was on the bag for. And the guy hits a bad shot, immediately turns and blames the caddy. And this is where it really gets bad. We've seen like verbal altercations. He physically throws his 7-iron as hard as he can at the caddy.
Come
right?
on.
So he said he was very close to him, only a couple of feet away. He tried to get his arms up to deflect it, but he couldn't. The club hits him in the face. So now
it's assault with a deadly weapon.
It is.
You got to fight at that point.
Yeah,
like I'm throwing hands. Like this guy is not getting off that assaulted.
Hole. Yeah. You were you're pressing charges,
of course.
But B, yeah, I mean the rage that would come out of anybody after having.
But this guy gets it in the end. Yeah, keep going.
So this guy, so he's got a huge welt and he's bleeding from the face. He said immediately, as a knee jerk reaction, he just took the guy's bag and threw it into the lake. Just took the whole bag.
So instead of throwing hands, he
just took the guy's bag, threw it in the lake. Now they can't continue. So the two of them have to walk back. They're, on the 4th hole. So they had to walk back to the clubhouse. As they're getting closer and closer to the clubhouse, now the rest of the employees and the guys in the caddy shack and everybody are seeing this and like, what's going on?
And he's cursing at him the whole way, right?
Yeah, they said they're fighting verbally the whole way. You see this, you probably heard it before you saw it.
Right.
Imagine now you see a drunk member and a caddy bleeding from his face, cursing at each other. Like, what's going on?
Right.
Long story short, they told the story that immediately they made the member pay him for the full round, tip him generously, and they said the guy was suspended for a month.
Suspended. Yeah, that's when you kick them off
Kick
the tour,
them off
right?
the tour,
Right.
dog.
Seriously.
Well, not only that, like you were saying earlier, like I would have been like the next call would have been the
It was
cops.
assault. Yeah, I mean, you
Press
get thrown
charges.
out.
You've
for
got
that.
witnesses.
Yeah.
I would be like this guy. So, and what makes it like the worst too is this guy at the time was a kid. He was 19.
He's just working a summer job.
I mean, like,
probably,
what
you
kind
know?
of dude do you have to be, right? Like, you're like a
Right.
19-year-old kid, you throw a club at him in his face.
I've gotten terrible reads from caddies. I've never once thought about throwing a club at him.
Dude, I'm hitting him right back with a club.
Seriously.
I'm taking probably a 7-iron because I can swing. Oh no, 7-iron was the one that was thrown at him. So maybe a 4-iron.
Yeah.
And I'm hitting that dude as hard as I possibly can.
I might have snapped all his clubs over my knee.
Yeah,
right in front
well,
of
he
him.
say he threw them in the lake.
Oh, that's a good way to do
But
it.
I mean, we all could say what we would do. I think in that moment, you'd be so shell shocked.
Shocked. Like, what just happened?
Like you don't expect a guy to throw his 7-iron at your
Right.
face. Like
For a 7-iron. It
Yeah.
was a bad putt, maybe. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my
But
God.
I'm just kidding. But no, but that's crazy. I'm surprised they only suspended him.
now,
I wonder
here's-
what club.
I know. I think it would have been a kicked out of the club.
Yeah,
Fines,
like,
if
you're not
not like
welcome
literally
here.
pressing
You're not
charges.
welcome here.
Like
If
how
you-
do you show up?
You're committing assault with a deadly weapon.
How do you
You
show
should-
up after that?
Right.
So here's another one. And speaking of course, like it often goes hand in hand, having a little bit too much to drink and playing golf.
Yeah, this might
Right.
be my favorite.
So this one comes from Alex Ander TB on Reddit. So he said he worked again caddying as a younger guy caddying at the golf club. And he said this is one member, crazy good golfer, but super streaky, and like he could have a great round, he could have a terrible round. But he said this guy's, I guess he's known on the course for being like a drinker and a smoker. Like this
Okay.
guy can put him away. He can
Okay.
drink, right? So he's probably a 5 to 7 handicap. And they got a tournament going on. And this guy, he says, he's keeping track. He proceeds to crush about 12 to 14 beers during his round. First of all, I wouldn't even
Wow.
still be standing.
Yeah.
If I drank a 12 pack out there playing. Meanwhile, he's had like 2 packs of cigarettes. He says he's clearly approaching blackout by the midway
he's
through
got
the
that
back
John
nine.
Daly
Right?
vibe right now.
And and you think too, like, what are we going to see? Like, what we see on Instagram all the time, guys swing and they fall, they miss
Right.
it, they look
Right.
right on their face. But they said the caddies all start talking to each other because they're like, you see how drunk he is, but they go, look at his scorecard. They're like, come here, look at his scorecard, right? Because they're keeping
Right.
score. By the 16th tee, guy's 7 under on his round.
No. Yeah,
7
that's-
under, right? He goes out, proceeds to tie the course record, firing a 63 that day. He goes bogey, par, bogey. By the time he's blackout drunk, he goes bogey, par, bogey. The course record, sorry, was a 63.
Okay.
I read that wrong. He was trying to tie the course record. He needed to par out the last 3 holes.
Got it. And
But he goes bogey, par, bogey to shoot a 65. Wins the tournament they were playing by a
course.
country mile. They said it was the most incredible display of drunken golf they've ever seen. They said the guy's a legend. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, like, imagine that you wake up the next morning, you don't even remember
You
the
don't even
round.
remember it. Be like, what
Like, I
happened
shot
yesterday?
what yesterday?
Where'd that trophy come from?
65. Incredible.
Is that the way to play golf? Maybe for that guy.
You got to think. Maybe if he had like 2 less beers, he pars
could've.
out and ties the course
Or
record.
2 more.
Just
However
just
way you want to look at
incredible.
it.
Now, kind of saving the best for last here.
This is the one I thought you were going for. This is my favorite.
Now, this one saving
Takes the cake,
best
I
for
think.
last.
Takes the
cake. It's just an incredible story. And again, it of course involves alcohol.
Of course.
Of course.
Mhm.
But kind of in a slightly different way. So this guy is saying he works at the golf course. He's working in the cart barn, so to speak. And towards the end of the night, he goes into towards the end of the day, the whatever, he goes into the cart barn and they notice that one cart is missing. So like,
Off the grid.
off there, like what is
Gone.
up? What is up? Because nowadays the cool thing about the carts is they got the GPS,
Yeah.
so
You know
they
where
can
that
check
thing is
that
at all times.
So
Sure.
they check the GPS and they notice that this cart goes missing on the 4th hole, disappears from the map. Because this thing, I guess the GPS doesn't work everywhere. It eventually just disappears.
Right.
4th hole disappears off the map. So they're like, where is this thing? Well, they get their first clue not that long after. They get a call from someone saying they just saw a golf cart driving down the road.
Here we go.
Like down the road,
Yeah.
right? So now, like what? But they can't find this thing because it's out of the GPS range. They just
Right.
know that it left after the 4th hole. So they're waiting around. Now it's dark. It's nighttime. So they get another call that the cart's been found. It's spotted. It's parked.
Mm-hmm.
It's parked outside of a bar 6 miles from the golf course.
Wow.
6
miles.
Miles away. You think it's an electric cart. What's the fastest it goes? 15?
Maybe 25 max?
20 is booking in a golf cart.
Right? Max?
20 to...
Hey, he might have worked at a course before. Might be able to know how to take the governor
might have
off
knew.
those things.
He might have known.
Maybe, but either way, you're thinking an electric golf cart, 15 miles an hour. It's going to take you a bit. That's a commit. You're committed to that bar 6 miles away.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Is that easy math? 15 miles an hour? It's
15 miles. So you obviously take them far less than an hour. We're talking about what? 20 minutes? 20 minutes?
20, 30 minutes,
miles?
give or take?
Yeah.
That's a hike.
Yeah. About 25 minutes to just fly back to the back on the road. 25 minutes.
Man, that's incredible.
So they're like, all right, they got to go recover this cart. So this guy, he goes and he hops in the car with the head pro. They drive down to the thing, have a little bit of an altercation with the guy.
I'm sure that was.
Turns out this guy was like, what happened? He was like, I was having a bad round, so I wanted to go to the bar, and I didn't want a DUI. So I figured I'd just veer off the golf course and take the cart.
Jeez. My first question is there no bar at the course, no restaurant at the course? I'm assuming not.
I guess not.
Okay.
Maybe it's his favorite bar. Regardless, this guy's banned.
He really needed that pick-me-up.
Now you're banned.
Now you're banned.
That guy's banned for life from that course.
He got banned. He didn't assault anyone, but he did steal a car.
Right. This is borderline call the cops.
Yeah.
So
that was a crime.
It's a crime. Yeah.
Theft,
He said
DWI.
I was borrowing it, but still.
Right.
Here's the thing. The guy's trying to avoid a DUI. It's a DUI no matter what you drive on the road.
Sure.
You can't be just absolutely hammered, have the cop pull you over and be like, it's a golf cart.
You can get a DUI on a bike.
I love the logic. Yeah, it's so funny.
But
take the car.
I think we can all surmise that this guy's thinking wasn't quite in order. So,
right.
But that was his reasoning. Might not have been a good thing, but it was his reasoning. So now, though, this kid has to hop in the cart and they got to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
So he said they had to drive it all the way back. He said he drove with the head pro in a pickup truck behind him with the lights on so he could see and the hazards on, driving this thing slowly back down the road 6 miles.
Imagine?
And the whole time thinking it's electric, it could die at any time. He said they got back to the cart barn at midnight that night and parked this thing. And this guy was never invited back.
So I guess he never thought ahead because, what were you going to do after the bar?
This guy didn't think before, after, or in the middle. He didn't think anyway.
He just wasn't thinking.
He was just like, he just made that hard right off the fourth green. Right? Just like
fifth hole this way.
Yeah, fifth hole this way. Bar 6 miles this way. Just down the road. But I can only imagine the chaos it sounds like as you're getting phone calls and trying to figure out where this cart is. And people are seeing it driving down the road. And then finally someone's got it spotted outside of a bar.
Jeez. He avoided the jail time and no one got hurt.
Well, we don't know. I mean, I don't know if at the end of the day, I would imagine the cops at least knock on the door and give you a friendly,
don't do
a
that
little
anymore.
what's up? You know,
let's not do this
I
anymore.
think they got to at least give you the warning.
Yeah, what's up. You got to get the what's up.
Yeah, you got to get first of all, you can never go back to that golf course.
Yeah,
that's first of all. Second of all, come on. Let's do a quick refresher on what a DUI is because you sound like a hazard.
Yeah,
to everyone,
to everybody.
Anyway. Those are some wild stories. There are countless more. I'm sure we'll run through some more.
I'm sure you guys have some. Let's hear them.
And if you guys have some, drop them in the comments because we would love to hear them. But it's just crazy the things that can possibly happen out there. That's for sure.
Oh man, I wish I would have threw my 2 cents in this because I've got a good one. I do got to give a guy the time for a quick one.
Yeah, you can't tease me like that and not tell me.
I had a guy. This will be quick. When you relieve yourself. A male on the golf course usually find a nice tree.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the fairway. Right in the middle of the fairway.
You were playing with this guy?
Yeah. I was just in the right rough and I look over and it's just right in the middle of the fairway. No tree, no coverage, no nothing. Just went for it.
Jeez. That's bold.
That's bold. That's bold.
That's bold.
Saw it all.
Unbelievable. Not to mention, imagine your ball ends there the next time. Next guy. You're worried about landing in a divot. Right. A puddle. Standing water. Jeez, that sounds like a good spot to end the show. Yeah. All right. You guys let us know your own stories in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. We'll see you next week.